Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633. Today we're taking a look at another Star Wars The Black Series 6-inch review. This time we're going to take a look at Luke Skywalker based on his design in A New Hope. Now, unfortunately, this version of Luke, in my opinion, doesn't have quite the accessories that he could have to represent at least most of his A New Hope designs. And it is a bit on the weird side due to the soft goods shirt that he features on the figure sculpt, which isn't the worst, but it does look really poofy a bit, and while it doesn't look as bad as I've seen in pictures from other reviewers and other people online, I could see why it has a bit of problems in the overall design and try to make it a little bit more accurate, but it does work for what it needs to do. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box as normal. It has a picture of Luke Skywalker, just a standard picture of him. Most likely they just took a design from A New Hope and created a design around it for the art design. It's number 21 in the line, meaning that it's the final figure released in the current wave, and from what I could tell, this is actually the final figure released in the 6-inch Black Series, at least until around the fall or summertime. Anyways, to take a look at the bag, it shows that it has a bio as normal, and that's pretty much it. The only two accessories that Luke includes is a pair of binoculars that's seen in A New Hope, and this is mostly used in scenes prior to him getting the lightsaber, so after that it's pretty much not really relevant. And then obviously he does have a lightsaber hilt with a blade that can be attached to as well. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the accessories in hand to see how it looks like when he's holding them. And here's a look of Luke holding on to his binoculars. Now, unfortunately, this accessory really doesn't personally work very well for me because of the fact that he could barely hold on to it without having a problem with possibility of warping his fingers, and it just doesn't really work very well in the overall grand scheme of things. It works okay, and it doesn't rest as well as I hoped it would, but I guess it's a cool accessory, and it's still a really good accessory to at least have on a New Hope version of Luke. Here's a closer look at Luke holding on to the lightsaber hilt that he also includes. Obviously, during A New Hope, he never really used the lightsaber in a pure combat way, so it's understandable that there isn't a lot of things you can replicate with just the lightsaber, and maybe a lot of action poses that you will see later on in Empire Strikes Back. And here's how it looks when it's fully lit in his hand. It works really nicely, and at least it's able to replicate a lot of, I guess, minor scenes within the film, and maybe some of the major scenes as well, since he really didn't do a whole lot in New Hope anyways. The only thing I don't like about it is that the binoculars still don't really work really well in his hands, but at least the lightsaber does work well to its advantage. Moving on to articulation, there isn't a whole lot of extra you'll see compared to other Star Wars 6-inch Black Series reviews. However, one thing to note is that because of the soft goods shirt, I think it works really well for articulation since most of the articulation is hidden. Even the little cuts in the pants make it look like it's more of a baggy design, so it does work to at least hide the joints in the overall design. His head is on a ball joint, which allows full movement with no problems, and he can look up and down quite a bit, so it works really nice. His shoulders, even though it's hidden underneath the cloak, can turn 360. However, due to the way that the soft goods is like, you will have problems with it turning with the joint, making it hard to move it around, so you kind of need to play around with it. He does have outward shoulder movement, which works really nicely, bends at the elbows and swivels, but also suffers the same problem as seen of the shoulders. He has ball joints at the wrists, which allow good movement of bent poses and so on, although you're not going to get a whole lot just by the scenes from New Hope alone. He does have waist articulation, but it is a bit hidden underneath the cloak, and once again it suffers from that same problem as mentioned earlier, and it can look up and down a bit with the abdomen crunch as well. He has pretty good outward hip movement, but that's about as far as you'll go. He has swivels at the thighs, double joints in the knees, and ankle pivots along with forward and backward movement of his feet. So you're going to get a lot of poses out of this figure, even if he really didn't do a whole lot in the film. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the other representations of Luke from the other two films. And here's the New Hope Luke compared to the other two versions of Luke in at least some of the major scenes from all three films. Now, one thing to note is that, for fans who don't know, Hasbro has a weird thing when it comes to face sculpts, especially when it comes to reoccurring characters in the line. So, just looking alone, it's understandable why some of the designs are different due to the fact Mark Hamill did have that accident, so he did have a little problem with his face overall, but it was helped a little bit with makeup and so on. However, just looking at it alone, the face sculpts are quite different to the point that it's just very strange that the face sculpts really don't kind of blend in and match very well. So just because of that, it looks like slightly a different character, since Hasbro has a really hard time designing hair color, and various other things, which make it a lot glaring compared to it needed to be. However, just having these three figures alone, it does look really nice on the shelf to have the three main representation of Luke in display. So even if this figure does suffer a few problems with the soft good shirt and various other things, I still think this is a very nice figure to add to your collection. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hirotaku. Please check down the other channels down below, and please check me on Twitter under Darkon633. I'll be back for more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you on YouTube. Bye.